My story is about an article written about our friends at JPMorgan about a research report that I haven't had a chance to read yet. But the gist of it is this. According to our esteemed newsroom at CoinDesk, Ethereum is on the cusp of losing its battle with Solana, which is 2021's smart contract crypto darling, because Ethereum is ceding NFT market share volume to Solana. I talked about earlier. I will caution, I'm hardly a fan of non-Bitcoin digital assets and cryptocurrency, but I think I'm coming to the defense of the altcoins right now. So someone better be recording this, which I think we are. JPM cautions, and I quote, if Ethereum's loss of NFT market share continues in 2022, it could be a bigger problem for its valuation because, and I quote once again, Ethereum's share of the NFT market is likely to be more important than its share of decentralized finance or DeFi. Again, not an Ethereum maximalist, not even really a fan, not even a proponent, but JPM killed me with this one. First of all, Ethereum still dominates NFTs. We have this OpenSea chart to the right that just shows a crazy amount of volume going through Ethereum NFTs. And I mean, OpenSea was valued at $20 billion. I couldn't name 2 Solana NFT projects. I could probably name 10 or 15 Ethereum ones, and I don't own a single NFT. The volumes are so crazy. But I think this kind of makes sense from JPM. They're rightfully scared of a quote-unquote new financial system. So, of course, things like DeFi and Ethereum and things like Bitcoin scare them. And it scares them enough to use their brand name and their power to say it just doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. So I'll go on record and say that NFTs are not Ethereum's killer app. It's also not Solana's killer app. The killer app is something that JPM seems afraid of for some reason. And although I think DeFi is better on Bitcoin or Bitcoin itself is DeFi versus the alternatives, it doesn't mean I'm right, and it doesn't mean JPM is right. And actually, I would say it definitely doesn't mean that JPM is right. I want to get Will's view on this because I think he's someone who really likes Bitcoin but also appreciates other things.
Yeah, God give me the confidence of a JPMorgan analyst who's been reading about Ethereum for 1 year, because this is just a bad take written into a report and shipped off to other analysts around the space. Like, look at the numbers, first of all. What you're saying there, totally correct. Solana, cool. Like, you've had a great year. You busted through some hoops that no one thought you were going to be able to do. At the end of the day, Ethereum is still where everything is going. It's the Manhattan to your New York blockchain. That's not going to change for quite a while. Look at fees, still very elevated on Ethereum. Fees are high because people are using it. That's just how it works. Look at the top projects, like you said, OpenSea, that's on Ethereum. It's almost a household name now. They're looking at maybe doing an IPO or possibly a token airdrop, probably not, but at least an IPO or something like that in the next year. And then, like you said, George, all the top projects, they're on Ethereum, but not on Solana. There's a few cool Solana ones, like we can say that. But again, this is like way overloaded statements here in this report. And it's pretty typical for these reports. Just going back over the last few years, these big banks put out these reports, they put out these notes to their audience, who is often other buyers and investors who aren't in the know as much, and then you can easily just pick them off. JP Morgan probably operating a nice little trading desk, reaping in some cash from this report they're handing out to investors. I want to throw this up to Zach, though. What was your take when you saw this headline?
Yeah, definitely a lot of cart before the horse vibe. Yeah, that's how you say that one. Yeah, definitely putting the cart before the horse on this one, folks. Yeah, Ethereum is still very much the main venue for all these things, and I think the expense proposition of some of these projects is a bit of conspicuous consumption on some of these things. Like you want to be in the prime real estate, and people are willing to pay the premium to be in the prime real estate. It's interesting to think about. I don't know how these networks will emerge and whether or not like one network will become the DeFi network, another one will become the NFT network. I don't know. I mean, I think we're talking about, the proof of stake merge happening on Ethereum potentially later this year, which could be a real game changer. Solana, obviously faster, cheaper because it is proof of stake as opposed to the currently proof of work Ethereum blockchain. Interesting to see how that's going to change the calculus and whether or not, things materially change once the consensus mechanism alters the dynamics on the Ethereum blockchain. This is something that Christy and Will have both looked into pretty deeply. So I'm going to toss it to Christy first, and then Will for their takes on that and whether
we got to interject. You fact check me all the time. It's time to get you right back.
I'm ready.
Solana is a proof of history chain. A proof of history chain.
Dang it!
It's
similar, but
mechanism marginalia. Rats. Okay. I'll take it.
I couldn't tell you what proof of history is that well because it's been a while.
Proof
but
of space and time.
Yeah, always going to take a slam where I can get it. I'll give it to Christy now, though. I'll back off.
Well, yeah, proof of history, but also, I mean, it self-describes also as a proof of stake with proof of history. So I'm not sure how that all goes in. It works, I guess, together. But I think one of the interesting things, and that Zach has already sort of touched on, is the fact that JPMorgan is freezing the technology in time and assuming that what is happening now is going to happen forever, and ignores the idea, or at least it's more than an idea, let's say, that Ethereum is going to transition to proof of stake this year. It does have scaling proposals coming through the works that will be enabled at some point in time. Ethereum moves slowly. Only Bitcoin moves slower, I think, than Ethereum. But it will have it will advance on a technological level that will address many of the concerns that JPMorgan is talking about, and it choosing to ignore apparently from the surface. I'm not sure if the report gets into it a little bit more, but yeah, Solana right now, I think, is getting some market share because of factors that people are taking advantage of right now, which is the fast throughput, the lower fees, and the proof of stake versus proof of work narrative that's out there. And people who are concerned about the energy consumption of proof of stake blockchains are looking for those, proof of work blockchains are looking for the proof of stake ones, and they're going to Solana because it seems to be working out fine. But that is not going to be the case forever. George, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, I love dunking on banks. It's like my favorite thing to do in the world. So I'll add something here that's somewhat related to this. I think it was Bank of America that was saying that Avalanche was going to be the future smart contract cryptocurrencies, I think. Well, I think it was Bank of America. It's just interesting to see the banks kind of move on from. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny. It's like pick your your fighter, SBF or like Suzu. I don't know who I'd choose there. SBF. It's funny seeing them move on from Bitcoin and kind of like, destroying Bitcoin and saying it's stupid and moving on to Ethereum now. Like, okay, we can't kill Bitcoin. It's a time to try to kill Ethereum. They're like, well, Solana is cheaper and Avalanche is cheaper and we can do more stuff. Like, when does this end? I mean, are they ever going to say, okay, fine, Onyx is stupid. We're not going to do anything in this anymore. We're just going to give way to the public blockchains. Well, latch onto that. Yeah, last thought I will say about this is Bitcoin has kind of put itself in a nice position because it's really the only thing they can kind of say it's money. All these other chains are competing for that number 2 spot, which is that smart contract platform. And it is a slippery slope depending on how fast you can upgrade your tech stack while staying online. And we've seen Solana has tried to do that, had some like network interruptions. I've seen Avalanche kind of pop up and then it died down for whatever reason. Now we have Near Protocol. We had Luna just a little bit ago. It's really just a circus. Everyone's treading water as quickly as possible, trying to stay above the line. And we'll see what happens into the future, but it's notable that Bitcoin has really cemented its place as like the money in the digital asset space.